Good morning, Zio here, and today we're talking Hogwarts. I know it's been a hot minute since I sat down in front of the camera and everything, but you know what? Grab yourself some coffee, sit back, relax, and let's get into it, shall we? So yeah, we're talking Harry Potter today. Woo! Anyway, I actually enjoy Harry Potter. I'm not gonna lie. I've read part of the books, not all of them. Part of the books. I have absolutely every one of the movies except for the Fantastic Beasts. I've never seen a single one of that group of series. But you know, my what's the word I'm looking for? I don't know. Anyway, my knowledge on Harry Potter, I guess, is limited. Let's say that. I'm not like this huge fan that knows absolutely everything and every detail about this, that, and the other, and all this other stuff. So don't ask me anything, because I can't tell you. It's one of those things, but I do enjoy me some Harry Potter. I'm not gonna lie. Mm. What I didn't know, because I have been practically AFK for an entire year, and when that stuff settles down, we can go and talk about it at some point, I guess, if somebody really wants to know what was going on. But the point of the matter is, yeah, I want to be back, right? So I miss doing this. I enjoy doing this. If you're seeing this on Rumble, by the way, this is the first one I have made with Rumble in mind as well. That will be uploaded. Everything else over there is just, you know, the catalog of stuff for the past couple of years that I had transferred over. But this would be the first one that I actually had Rumble in mind, by the way. Those of you on the YouTubes and the Fruit Labs and wherever else this happens to post to, I'm over on Rumble too now. So I'm not gonna lie, I kind of enjoy that platform, especially with everything going on with YouTube, which I think should be another video that we talk about maybe this week, where we go over what's going on with YouTube gaming and stuff like that. But anyway, apparently Harry Potter is coming out with a new game. In fact, it has come out with a new game, right? It's doing numbers. Like, it's selling out. It's sold records. The collector's edition, which is $300, by the way. Wow. Anyway, sold out in a matter of minutes after it was allowed to be bought. And yeah. But why are we really talking about this? There was a boycott. Okay, so for those who have been to my channel before, I usually stay away from politics, right? Politics, for the most part, I try to not intermingle. I'm more likely to talk politics over on the TikTok, which is another thing I haven't touched in a while. But yeah, I try to separate the politics from the gaming. Sometimes it's just not that's not doable, right? And this would be one of those times, because this is purely a political boycott. So what exactly has happened? One, the boycott failed miserably, and we'll get into why, because I've talked about it before. I don't remember where I've talked about it. Pretty sure I've talked about it on the TikToks. I'm not sure if I've actually done it here in long form format. But you know, the NPCs don't actually buy this stuff, or they do and they don't tell their friends because they're NPCs and they know that they're going to be thrown under the bus if they mention it, right? Anyway, but yeah, this is purely a political thing. J.K. Rowling, the author of Harry Potter, made statements that, if you ask anyone on that NPC side of things, will refer to as phobic or an ist or some form of that, when in reality they're not. I think that things like phobic and ist words are so overused that nobody knows their meaning anymore, because it's been so diluted to the point that it is absolutely meaningless when you call somebody an ist or a phobe. That yeah, it doesn't. It just doesn't hit home as I would, or as one would want it to. But of course, that's with all those kinds of words at this point in time, because they've been so overused over the past 6 years that you know, they just don't mean anything, in my opinion, of course. But what happened? JK said that essentially a man is a man, a woman is a woman, and rooted her ideals in science, which is a legitimate thing that is fact. It's like math. 2 plus 2 equals 4, not 5, and stuff like that. You know, and apparently my system is trying to do something, which is, I'm not sure what it was trying to do, but you need to stop. I'm trying to record. Anyway, um, you know, she took her thing. It's rooted in science. It's a real thing, and you know, in my opinion, there's nothing wrong with that. You know, you want to transition one way or the other, that's fine. You do that. Don't demand that I call you one way or the other. You have to earn my respect before I do that. But anyway, when it comes down to it, that's essentially what has happened. She said, man is man, woman is woman. You can't transition. And scientifically speaking, J.K. Rowling is correct. You can't. When it comes down to it, the basic building blocks of human life, those cannot be changed. Your DNA still stays the same regardless of how you change the chassis. It's like taking the... Never mind. Anyway, point of the matter is, you know, I really don't care whether you are one way or the other, because I know somebody has already taken that. They're probably typing down in the comment right now going, oh my gosh, you're such a phobe, you're an ist, blah, 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 how dare you, whatever, fuck off. Anyway, in reality, I don't really care. You know, you can be transitioned, you can not be transitioned, you can, you know, be gay, straight, whatever. I really don't care. As long as you're a cool person, you're fun to hang out with, you're great to play video games with and stuff. That's all I really care, is the person inside, right? You know, the personality. If you're an ugly person on the inside, I'm more likely not to interact with you. And unfortunately, a lot of these NPCs are very ugly on the inside. They like to preach things like equality and stuff like that, but not really want equality or diversity. They want the same, you know, as what they believe, but they can't handle any kind of real diversity whatsoever, and it's purely skin deep, right? Everything they call for, it's a purely skin deep thing. But anyway, point is, they organized a boycott. These kind of people, I will continue to refer to them as NPCs. You'll just have to get over it if you don't like that. Whatever. Anyway, the NPCs decided they were going to boycott this, right? Like, I think they did the same thing with Fantastic Beasts and anything else that is J.K. Rowling affiliated, right? You know, they have been organizing these boycotts, and I haven't really paid any attention to them. I don't know how they went. However, this particular one, you know, Chad mentioned to me, said, hey, Z, you should go look at this. You should talk about this. It felt horribly. And it was gaming related. So I'm like, okay, sure, why not? And that's why we're here. It has apparently failed miserably. Why? Because the NPCs, for the most part, don't play these properties. They really don't. This is why we saw, back when I was last paying attention to it, things like Miss Marvel, the comic series, get shut down, rebooted at least 5 times over the span of a few years, it seemed like, because nobody who really wants that stuff actually buys that stuff. They preach it, but they don't actively engage in it, if that makes sense. You know, they sit there and they talk about this, that, and the other, and they want to see this, and they need more of that, and they're you know, representation and diversity that is only skin deep and all this other stuff. But when it comes down to it, they don't actually participate in the thing. You know, they don't go out and they don't buy copies of the comic. They don't buy copies of the game. They don't play the video game. They don't watch the movie. They don't watch the TV show. That's why so many shows have gone into this direction, pleasing these particular people, and they have been getting shut down one after another. You know, I mean, CW isn't exactly the best example for anything. I'm not gonna lie, they need help in the writing room, a lot of help. But, you know, I feel like I do watch a lot of those CW shows, or CW. The Flash, Supergirl, Legends of Tomorrow, Arrow, that verse, the Arrowverse. There we go. I have watched a ton of the Arrowverse stuff, and it's a bit jarring to get into because it's not really that great, right? Of course, one of my favorites is the Flash. He's one of my favorite characters, alongside of Deadpool and Spider-Man being my top three when it comes to comics and things like that. But anyway, so watching the TV show, the first season is it's second season it gets better, but the longer the show goes on, it gets worse and worse and worse because they cram more and more and more of this ideology from the NPCs into it. And the problem is the viewership gets worse and worse and worse because a lot of these people don't actually watch the property. And, I'm sure it's been canceled at this point or is going to be canceled. I don't know. I haven't paid attention. There's a season out right now on Netflix that I've watched maybe a few episodes of, and it's horrible. But I love The Flash, so I'm trying to still watch it. Meanwhile, something like Supergirl, I kind of stopped watching after one of the seasons because I was like, this is dumb. It really is. There's so many missed opportunities in this universe that they decided to sidestep, which I think purely is based off of ideology, why they haven't explored these things or done these particular things or even gone into it so they can cram other things in that are meaningless and nonsensical and does not need to actively be there. Like, I don't really care about this certain things, but that's just me. Anyway, I inhaled that, so I'm about to cough horribly, maybe. Yeah. It's fun. Anyway, point is, this thing blew it out of the water, right? It is sold out. People are upset, and it's funny reading these things, right? You've got all these Twitter posts and stuff of people calling for it and bashing it and stuff, and it's just funny because they're trying so hard to justify it, or to, I guess, justify their feelings as to why they're not. But it's just hilarious. I'm sorry, I quite find it. I find it quite funny. Like this one here, push your bigoted agendas, seeing cis in particular bend over backwards to excuse buying the game is insane. And this is in response to separate the artist from the art, right? Which is a thing I actually do subscribe to, right? If the product is good, I don't really care about the person who came up with it or who invented it too much. I enjoy it. I'm going to partake in it. Who cares about what it is that they do in their private life or their thoughts or their feelings or anything else like that? But at the same time, actually, I got nothing. I got nothing on that. Anyway, yeah, separate the art from the artist. I subscribe to that sort of thing. As long as you're making a good product, for the most part, I don't really care what you're doing in your private life. And at the same time, it doesn't mean I can't, criticize you for it, like Blizzard. I absolutely love Blizzard products. If that is the one thing, if anyone's been here long enough, knows that I am a huge Blizzard fan. I played World of Warcraft since the day of its inception, to the public anyway, to about a year or so ago. So I played it for a good 17 years, mostly straight through. But at the same time, I criticize, I think, Blizzard probably more than anything else on this channel, from the BlitzChun incidents to other things. And, when it comes down to it, a boycott, of course, only works if you can actively, get the fans to care about it, right? Like this whole idea that because we hate JK, we have to just not buy any Harry Potter products isn't going to work, because most normal people subscribe to J.K. Rowling's thoughts, I guess. I'm not sure what to call it. They're facts, essentially. You know, biology is biology. Most normal people will subscribe to that. And on top of that, a lot of people don't really care. I mean, sure, they know J.K. Rowling's the author. They've probably never even seen a picture of J.K. Unless they read an article about Harry Potter and they got the picture right there and said author J.K. whatever, you know. And a lot of these people don't seem to understand that. And it's taken me a while to, quite frankly, understand that as well. You know, I've learned a lot over the past several years about different things, and you know, it's like you sit there and you think, and you're like, how do you not understand this? How do you not know this? And it's real simple. You know, most normal people don't. And if you can't get the normal people, the normies, to actually, you know, get on board with this, because you tell them, oh, it's because she's phobic, and they're like, what? Why? How? Well, she said all this stuff, but then you can't actually back it up, which is another thing that a lot of people do also when it comes to the NPC side of things. The difference between them and everyone else who argues against them, usually the people who argue against them have some kind of facts. They've got data, they've got information that they can bring up and show you and say, hey, look, 8% of whatever, you know? Meanwhile, the other side is purely based on feels. Well, I don't feel, or I don't think, or I just, you're wrong. And it doesn't work that way. You know, if you can't actually bring them some kind of proof to show that J.K. Rowling is a demonstrable monster, can you put those words together like that? Anyway, to show them that she is a complete monster, they're not going to care. They're not going to boycott your silly thing because they're going to look at it and think it's silly, right? They're like, okay, and then they're going to go purchase the thing because they're huge Harry Potter fans. But I mean, when it really comes down to it, I like this one right here because it kind of hits that nail on that head. You know, it's one of those. So, you know, you've got all these parent companies that practically own everything. They will bend over backwards for a particular ideology sometimes, but then they also do things that would, you know, consider, what is the, yeah, there's a word there. They would do things that you would be like, yeah, maybe you shouldn't be, you know, buying from them. But that's the problem, right? That's the, unless you go off grid, grow everything yourself, bottle all your water and all this other stuff, you're going to have to participate in society, and corporations are going to do things you're not going to like. You're going to have to affect that change little by little. You can't just demand it and have it happen. Anyway, I have rambled on long enough. Point of the matter is, this thing did records. Boycott failed. And I am probably going to be canceled as a result for whatever it is that I said in this video that was cancelable. But yeah, see you next time.